Tonight on CTV, police are investigating the cause of a vehicle and pedestrian collision.
Then, see the role that discussions play in terms of free speech in Black History Month.
Plus, get all your updates on yesterday's nail-biting basketball game from the CSU's women's team.
All that and more, starting on CTV right now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Natalie Devereaux.
And I'm Weston Hubbard. A crash occurred just before 7 in the morning on Wednesday at the intersection of South College Avenue and West Laurel Street. CSU's public safety team sent out an alert just before 10 in the morning on the same day. The message detailed that the road would be closed for the time being due to the accident. Police arrived shortly after the accident and determined that the driver was an adult female who struck a male pedestrian. Soon after the Fort Collins collision, reconstruction and scene handling team investigated the scene. They determined that the female driver did have a green light and that the male pedestrian was walking across the street did not have a crossing signal, which put him in immediate danger. As of now, the pedestrian is still in the hospital being treated for serious injuries sustained from the accident. The investigation is also still ongoing to figure out if any foul play was involved.
February 12th marks the end of the mask mandate in Larimer County. Establishments will now have the option to let their employees and patrons go maskless indoors. Vaccines, boosters, and natural immunity are the three components to thank for the ending mandate. 80% immunity has been reached across the county due to those factors, and therefore officials believe it is now safe to see one another face to face again. This was not an easy decision for the public health department to make, but with immunity in mind and seeing less stress on hospitals, they've decided to give it a try. Multiple school districts in Larimer County are following suit and lifting their masking requirements. CSU just sent out an email saying the mask mandate will stay in place on campus.
We support our schools and their decisions based on their circumstances. So I will say Colorado State has been a strong partner through this pandemic. In the last 9 to 10 months has been wonderful, keeping as much in-person learning as possible. So their pandemic team and our teams, well, they meet, almost daily. We have been a strong partner committed to working together. So we support whatever their decision is.
The school stated they took all relevant factors into consideration when making this important decision.
A large amount of previously unreported COVID outbreaks have now been made aware to the public of Colorado following a release of new data. The Colorado Department of Public Health reported 34 of these recent outbreaks of COVID, going as far back as December. The state accredits the backup in reported outbreaks to a rapid amount of cases that were caused by the Omicron variant. As of Wednesday morning, there are now 107 current outbreaks within Larimer County.
College campuses are well known for fostering an opening exchanging of ideas. Students spend pivotal years learning and growing at these institutions. But what happens when discourse goes too far or becomes stunted? Americans' First Amendment right protects free speech, but this isn't the first time the clause has sparked controversy on CSU's campus.
Free speech is the democratic right for people to express themselves freely and without government intervention or interference.
After numerous instances of reported free speech abuse, administrators put up a sign with resources for students.
I think that if CSU wants to be providing resources, they need to be doing so before, during, and after these kinds of things happen.
I don't think it's an important sign to have up. I feel like there are lots of other signs throughout the campus with numbers that you can reach out to if something is going on, and I don't think it should be targeted just at free speech.
This act, meant to help students, has triggered more contention.
There was a student on our campus that ended up taking a picture and sending it to Fox News.
Protection from free speech. Colorado State University referring
I would prefer to see someone of color, or maybe a queer representative, or someone who has been marginalized historically to speak about the problems that we face on our campus.
You have some kids who are just at the end of their rope with this stuff, and they want to be heard, and they want to voice their opinion, and they don't want to feel completely incorrect or wrong for the way that they think.
It has started a bigger conversation of what free speech should legally look like on campus.
In a way, you could have one outlier, one fringe person on this campus of 30,000 people who has this outrageous view that no one agrees with. And as long as they come right up into the law but don't cross it, they can say that.
There is seemingly an unbridgeable divide when it comes to students and those who hold a differing opinion.
I feel like a lot of the time when conservative white people discuss their views or their opinions, it's just kind of dismissed as racist or sexist or homophobic.
I know a lot of people within the LGBT community are very scared on campus because like they've had such bad like experiences within the classrooms or like even in living spaces.
Many students cite the school as a large instigator of the polarization.
I think it's hard for sure, especially at universities. There's definitely like a further left bias, and we can't really argue that.
I think a school that's state funded should play the middle ground, try and stay neutral, and be supportive of students of all backgrounds.
Immediately disperse, which means to break up this assembly.
The school declined to comment but did release a statement about the recent disputes. On the CSU website listed under University Policies, the school states the rights of students and others to participate in acts of free speech and peaceful protest. It goes on to say acts by demonstrators that interfere with rights of others, disrupt normal school functions, or endanger health and safety may be addressed through the student conduct process.
One of the last places you would expect a student to get turned away from would be an office supply store. So why were 8 turned away along with their teacher? Students were cooped up in their homes for over a year due to COVID, so being back in person should feel good, right? Behind me is Fort Collins High School, where the students come every single day to learn and feel safe. But what happens when the students leave the premise during school time? Does that safety still continue? Alejandra McGee, an autism integrated services teacher at Fort Collins High School, took 8 of her students and a paraprofessional to Staples on Tuesday morning to practice appropriate public behavior. However, they were asked to leave the store after the manager claimed they were a business to make money, not a store for field trips, and accused the group of not buying items on prior visits. McGee explained the situation of practicing behaviors and said the group intended to buy items. However, the group was still told to leave. McGee took to social media, posting a detailed description of the encounter, which has garnered much attention. Many of the responses were angry with the business, with some claiming they will never shop there again, and even providing the phone number for representatives of the business. Poudre School District, which Fort Collins High School is a part of, who uses Staples as one of its vendors for school supplies, released a statement discussing the disheartening event and want to use it as an opportunity to advocate for their students. Attempting to reach out to both parties has received no answers so far, but as of now, it seems like the Fort Collins community will be up in arms until some sort of resolution is reached. McGee has gone on record and stated that she wants an apology from the manager to her students and hopes this experience can soften his heart. But since no such apology has come yet, the Fort Collins community appears to remain up in arms with Staples.
Over 2,400 Colorado police officers left the profession in 2020. 30 of them had their licenses revoked due to misconduct or misdemeanor and felony convictions. Policing shortages started in 2020 and have continued over the past 2 years. There seem to be 2 main factors as to why these shortages have now peaked: burnout and low morale. There are fewer officers to do the same amount of work, which has led to some law enforcement officials reaching a breaking point and having to step down. The dialogue around justice and policing reform has also had a large impact on both vacant positions and the lack of people wanting to fill them. Here in Fort Collins, the police department has been able to keep up with staffing, but there's around 30% fewer applicants compared to previous years. Don't go anywhere, Rams.
Because Michelle Ellis will be coming up after the break to tell you what kind of weather we can expect going into this weekend.
Welcome back from the break, Rams.
February 1st marks the beginning of Black History Month. Live reporter JJ McKinney is here today to tell us more about how people are getting involved. JJ?
Thanks, Weston. As he just said, it's Black History Month, and a couple of CSU students are taking the conversation about racial equality and spreading it to the community.
They're called Real Talks, a program funded by the Black African American Cultural Center and ran by CSU students Andrew Brown and Alexandria Walton here at CSU's campus.
Real Talk is a student-led critical dialogue space where we, as student facilitators, lead the group.
They cover topics about the Black community, varying from conversations about art, music, film, and overall pop culture. This week's Real Talk was all about the connection between art and its history with Black activism.
So art can be such a beautiful way to say something without putting yourself in harm's way necessarily.
Real talks range from lighthearted to serious talks about the treatment of black people in today's society.
Acknowledging, like whether you are, I guess, like higher or lower in like some socioeconomic scale is hard to talk about because, you know, not everyone likes to talk about if they're privileged or if they're not privileged.
While real talks certainly do get real, Brown and Walton know just how important talks like these are for the Fort Collins community.
I see Real Talk as a very, like you said, connecting device, I guess you could say, and it could be really powerful to help people understand each other, not only in like within their community, but outside of their communities.
This Real Talk was one of the events the Black African American Cultural Center is holding for Black History Month. But more Real Talks will continue all year long. Back to you, Weston.
Thank you, JJ, for that information. Have you ever wondered how the gas used to heat your home and power your appliances gets there? It comes from natural gas compressor stations that move gas thousands of miles. Researchers at CSU are working diligently to make the system more efficient and reduce methane greenhouse gas emissions from the process. A $1.5 million grant from the Department of Energy's Advanced Research Projects Agency has been given to this study. Although essential, the gas compressors often leak methane, which in large quantities can affect the Earth's atmosphere by trapping heat from the sun, leading to unnatural changes in the climate. The goal is to create a system that would stop the dangerous gas from escaping and instead be burned by the engine, overall reducing harmful greenhouse gas emissions.
Longtime Larimer County Manager Linda Hoffman has announced she will be retiring this spring. Hoffman began her career in the city back in 2008 and became county manager in 2012. The Board of Commissioners for Larimer County reflected on how great of a manager Hoffman was, referencing her plenty of tireless efforts and time commitment she put into the job. In her time as county manager, Hoffman was able to provide assistance for the city through hard times, such as allocating resources and supplies for those who lost their homes in the High Park and Cameron Peak fires. Hoffman also created back-to-back strategic plans that allowed for over $100 million in facilities for the county to be created without raising any taxes in the process. In the face of retirement, Hoffman talked about how happy she was to serve the community for as long as she did and was proud of all the changes she made in the county and looks forward to seeing the changes that will be made even though she is no longer the one making them.
If you were worried about Post Brewing closing its doors earlier this year, never fear. They are simply moving locations. This tap room and beer garden will be reopening next month in the location of the former Wild Boar Cafe off of College Avenue. Owner Joe DeLine, a 2021 CSU graduate, is looking forward to take over that space that already has a German feel to its exterior, and it's well complement the German style and beers that they serve inside. It's cool that they get to keep that culture kind of going because the German aspect of it's already there. So it's like they don't have to spend all this time and effort trying to establish it already.
I agree, and I used to go to the Wild Boar Cafe, and that's a great location. So I think it's great that they're putting something else there that we can all enjoy.
I never had the chance to go, but now I kind of want to go visit it and see what it is now because obviously it's turning into something big, so I'm excited.
Yes, it's very nice.
Well, Natalie, if you didn't know, Valentine's Day is actually at the end of this weekend, so it's Valentine's Day weekend. And live reporter Hattie Williams is out to ask CSU students what their plans are for the holiday. Hattie?
Thanks, Weston. Valentine's Day is indeed this Monday, and we all know what that means. Lovebirds of all kinds are coming out to celebrate. Cupid is out, doves are flying, mushy talk is taking over phone conversations, and I just had to know, how are students spending their Valentine's weekend? So what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
Who knows? I have no plans at the moment. I'm gonna lift some weights, get swole.
Hanging out with all of my best friends, of course.
A little bit of a Galentine's?
Yeah, we'll say that, Galentine's.
Actually, we got reservations at this restaurant in town. It's at Jack's, the sushi place. Yeah.
Nice.
And then this weekend on Saturday, we're going down to Denver and just gonna enjoy the day out there too as well.
I don't have any plans right now. Just probably do homework because I'm an engineer.
I will actually be watching my girl named Harper play volleyball, but then we'll be eating dinner after, so yeah.
Super Bowl or Valentine's Day?
Super Bowl, yeah, that's more fun for me. A little bit of both, Super Bowl probably.
I definitely take Valentine's Day. I work at a sports bar. We hate the Super Bowl. I'd say the Super Bowl. I love football.
Valentine's Day for sure, yeah.
Probably Valentine's Day. Agree. I don't watch football. I don't either.
Me either. I'm putting you in a tough spot.
I'll have to choose Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Smart choice.
Okay. I would have said Super Bowl, but
Olympics.
Olympics? I loved being able to talk with students about their plans, and they honestly gave me some great ideas of what I could do. I'm curious, though. Natalie and Weston, what do you guys have planned this weekend?
I think I'm just going to have like a nice chill weekend with some friends, maybe get some dinner, just relax a little bit.
Awesome.
I'm going to get myself a nice tub of ice cream, watch the new Attack on Titan episode, and just relax, chill, you know?
You guys have such both beautiful weekends and very relaxing. I am just working. And I do have some plans. I have some plans with my boyfriend on Monday night, but for the most part, I'm working this weekend.
All that matters is you have it on the day, you know, actual Valentine's Day.
Exactly.
Yes, that's what matters. Well, Rams, that's all the news we have for you right now.
But don't go anywhere. Leah Kukowski is coming up next to give us the rundown on how both of CSU's basketball teams have been doing in their most recent games. Stick around.